9 o'clock, and this morning we're going to prove to you once and for all, Sherry Clark is nuts. From Fork in the Road fame, Sherry Clark is here, and when you're talking nuts, you are talking some stuff really seriously is really good for you and is really good, period.
Yes, it is, and it takes the place of a lot of things that maybe aren't so good too, so that's always a bonus when you can get something into you that's on the plus side and something away from you that's on the negative.
Now, a lot of times when you're eating things like this that taste really good, you're hungry really quickly afterwards, too.
Not with nuts. They are really grounding and really filling, and they're really high in protein, fiber, all kinds of nutrients, so they're really a good substitute for a whole bunch of things. So let me show you a few things.
Let's see.
Before we talk about what we can make with nuts, let's talk about buying them. Okay, so today I'm going to be mostly talking about dark nuts. So if you think about the nut family, the darker nuts would be pecans, almonds, let's see, walnuts, Brazil nuts, those are darker in color. If you think about macadamias, cashews, pine nuts, those are all lighter in color. Today we're going to be focusing more on the darker nuts. Those tend to be a little bit harder, and they're going to be used for some of the recipes that I'm talking about today. So I might come on next time and talk about the softer.
Is there a health difference between the two?
It's not as much the health difference, it's more of a culinary difference. The lighter ones are typically softer.
Okay.
In the case of macadamias, they have a much higher oil content. You know, those are the highest calorie nuts. And so they are used a little bit differently in recipes. So, but today I'm going to talk about the darker ones because most people are familiar with them.
Okay.
For all nuts and seeds across the board, the first thing that you want to know is buy them fresh, buy them unroasted, unprocessed, unsalted, all raw. You know I'm into that.
Where can you find those nowadays? Because normally you see them in their package, it's roasted pistachios or whatever.
You can get them at the natural food stores, and you can get them at places like Whole Foods, but also Campbell's locally, New City Market, Gateway. They will sell them in that way. The other thing to remember, once you buy them and get them home, is to store them properly. Because nuts, once they go rancid, not only do they not taste as good, they're not as good for you. So what I do is I'll buy my nuts in bulk, and then I just transfer them to glass jars and store them in the refrigerator. If you get a good deal on nuts, if you buy them and you find them at a really good price and want to buy 10 pounds of them, put them in the freezer.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And they'll last up to a year. In the refrigerator, several months. In the cupboard, not long at all.
What about people that have those vacuum bag machines or vacuum that help?
That would help, but I would also refrigerate them because you want to keep them cool.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's got oils, and the oils we don't want to go rancid.
How do we know when nuts go rancid?
I can smell it.
Okay.
And if you get used to it, it's kind of like olive oil. If you're a foodie, you can tell an oil that's off. And so just get some nuts that you know have been in your pantry for a really long time. Take a whiff of those and then smell some fresh ones, and you'll tell the difference instantly.
Because I feel like if people put peanuts in there that have been roasted and salted and things like that, and they last forever in a cupboard. You're saying if they're fresh, they don't last as long.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep. And frankly, the processed ones I wouldn't eat because of all the oils and all the salt and all the additional things. But you know, I'm a freak, so there you go.
We're just trying to make healthier choices. Okay, so we have our nuts. We've been storing them. Now what do we do with them?
Well, last week we talked about bananas and what you can do with that, and one of the things we made was banana milk. So this week I made you some homemade nut milk.
Now you made it.
I made it. Yes. So this is what.
How do you milk a nut?
It's easier than a banana. The banana was a bear last week.
We'll let you answer that question at home, okay?
Nutty milk. All right, so how do we make nutty milk?
Okay, so this is what the nut milk looks like when I make it. I put it in the container. This is almond milk. Okay. So what I did was I soaked the almonds overnight just to get them a little bit softer so that my produce or my yield would be higher. Okay. Let them soak overnight, put them in the blender with a ratio of approximately 1 to 4, 1 part nuts to 4 parts water. That's because I was making a nice milk, but it's not real thick and real creamy. Okay. And then blended that up, strained out the pulp with a nut milk bag or a cheesecloth or whatever you want to do.
With a nut milk bag?
Yeah.
They have special things for those?
All it is it looks like a nylon bag, like you would put lingerie into the laundry. You might not have one of those, but Jackie might know what I'm talking about.
I'll let you borrow one.
Okay.
I'll let you borrow one.
All right, good.
How is this different than if I go to the store and buy almond milk in
the blue diamond one?
In a blue
right, okay.
container.
From a taste perspective, hopefully you know the answer to that already because you can tell that it tastes a lot better.
It's really good.
It's really tasty. I've sweetened it a little bit with dates and I've used some vanilla. So from a taste, that's the only ingredients: water, almonds, vanilla, and Dates.
Okay.
So those are the only ingredients, and then the one that you buy at the store has to have preservatives, has to have stabilizers, usually has carrageenan or lecithin or some other things. Sometimes they add minerals and things back in, but this doesn't need it. This is a whole food. It'll last in the refrigerator 5, 6, you can maybe get 7 days out of it, but it probably won't last that long. It may separate. You'll even notice one of the things I didn't do is I haven't shaken this. I don't know if you can see, but
it's starting to settle a little bit.
A little tiny bit.
Little
and
bit.
That's the dates at the bottom. That is what I used as the sweetener is starting to settle in.
Hold that up a little.
So you just kind of need to shake it to get it going?
See it right down there?
Yep,
Shake
perfect.
it up.
Yep.
Shake it up.
So to incorporate that, you would just shake it up. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually, when you get down to the bottom, it's kind of the good stuff.
Right.
It's like the worm at the tequila, you know? It's like everybody fights over the bottom.
No, it has fantastic flavor.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's talk about nut butters. Okay.
Yes, please.
In the store, we can buy a national brand, and what we would want to do we would want to read the ingredient label, and we see that in here, because it's a peanut butter, is roasted peanuts, and I've given you some nut butter. It's not peanut butter. You have almond butter, and you can taste that while I'm talking about this.
Okay.
Roasted peanuts, there's sugar, hydrogenated vegetable oil, cottonseed, soybean, and rapeseed oil, something I can't read, and something to prevent separation, and salt.
The biggest
It should
thing,
just be like one ingredient, right?
That's it.
the biggest thing with natural peanut butter is always it doesn't have the sweetness that we're used to.
Right, exactly. There's sugar in here.
And there's nothing wrong with not having the sweetness, because then you can taste the peanuts.
Exactly. And the other thing is, you're usually not eating nut butter like you're eating it now. You're
Right.
usually eating it as a part of something
Obviously,
else.
haven't been to my house, but
So think about that. We don't need all of the extra things that are in here.
Now, what about the stuff that you get from
Great.
the same company that says all natural
Oh, gosh.
or natural brand?
Yesterday, when I went to the store to pick this up, because this is not from my pantry,
Yeah, okay.
I looked on the shelf and I was like, oh, natural, I wonder what they've done. It's exactly the same product with maybe one variation. And I went through the ingredient
Really?
label. Yes.
what about
I'm
the
gonna
new-
look now.
What about the new powdered ones you see? Does that make a difference?
The powdered ones are fine. They're for different purpose typically.
Oh,
and
okay.
so usually what you would use those for, they're reduced fat. They're usually an ingredient in something, maybe a smoothie. Maybe you use them for travel because you don't want to take this on an airplane and whatnot.
Okay.
So, okay. Let's talk about some sweets
Yes,
before we get
please.
into the main course, because I know you guys. Okay, so again, we're at a fork in the road. We could stop at the gas station and get us a
one of those,
candy bar,
right.
and there's all kinds of, the bad ingredients in here. I picked up this one because I thought people would be attracted to this because it's the dark chocolate
Yeah, which
version.
is healthy for you.
Right, not so much.
Oh.
We already know what's on here, so I'm not going to read through that the label. But what we're going to do is taste. This is just simply a date, and all I did was stick a nut inside.
These are
A
awesome.
pecan.
A pecan.
You put a pecan.
So all it is a date
pecan inside
with a
there.
pecan inside. That's
It's
it.
a date with a pecan inside, and then you can vary yours if you'd like. You could put a little dab of your nut,
Oh, yeah, peanut butter.
nut butter on the
butter.
top. Exactly.
All right.
Dates are really good.
And they're awesome, and it's so easy.
It's like candy.
It's exactly like candy, and so you'll be satisfied, and you didn't do this. So, okay.
Oh.
And then finally, let's think about main courses and entrees. A lot of times people want a taco for lunch or something like that, or even a taco salad. One better would be to make a pate out of nuts. So if you'd like to try one of these. Now what this is I used walnuts, pine nuts, there's sun-dried tomatoes, basil, a little bit of garlic, that's it.
What type of device did you mix this in?
I put it in a food processor. I used a Cuisinart brand with the S blade. Just put the ingredients in there,
They're so
and
pretty.
then homogenize it or puree it.
it's great.
Isn't it awesome? It's
It
satisfying.
tastes like meat, to be honest
It
with you.
I love the
does.
crunch.
It has a
does.
meat taste to it.
It does, doesn't it?
And it's got the
good.
meat texture, so it's great. And it's not a cholesterol-ridden product. So if you're concerned about that, so there's a bunch of reasons why you would want to eat that.
Oh, that is great. Now, your programs will be back on the air coming up here real soon.
Exactly. Yep.
we're looking
in the
forward
spring.
to
Yep.
that.
Yep. So in the meantime, you would want to visit www.fork-road.com for more information. And if you want any recipes, you just contact me.
We're
Yum,
going
yum.
nuts.
There you go. Sure.
Thank you very
so
much.
Yes, you're
You're nuts, but we
tasty.
like it. Okay.
All right.
It's 9:22. We'll be right back. You're watching Great Day Live.